Hello parents and students. This video is going to show students how to access the Performance Matters online testing tunnel via the district's website. First, we're going to click on the Dive into Distance Learning link. Here, we're going to go to the Distance Learning Information and Resources homepage. In the center of that page, students will see a link to the student portal. Once the students click on that link, they're going to see that there is a reminder that once you enter the student portal, you are to use your district's username and password to log into the portal. Once the students click on the portal link, they will type in their district's username and password. Once they click login, they will be taken to their portal's home page. The students will then look for the Performance Matters icon. If this Performance Matters icon is not on the desktop, then students can simply type in Performance and the icon is going to appear at the top of the list. Students will simply click on the Performance Matters icon and it will take them to their Performance Matters online assessment homepage. There, students will see all assessments that have been assigned to them by their teachers. In order to access the assessments, all the students have to do is click on the name of the test. Once the students click on the name of the test, they're going to have a page with navigational tools and icons. These tools and icons will be helpful to the students as they take the assessment in the online tunnel. If these tools and assessments are accessible to the students, then they will see them in the online tunnel. The students will click next and they will be taken into the tunnel and they will see the very first question. On this page at the very top, they're going to see welcome and they should see their name. On the right hand side at the very top, they should see a connection status. At all times, it should say good and there should be a green bubble there indicating that the internet connection is strong. If this bubble toggles between yellow and red, that means that the students may or may not be connected to the internet and their assessment answers may or may not be saved. Now, this gear icon is very important, especially for our students with accommodations. If students need to have the screen magnified, then you will see that there are a number of magnifications from which they can select. For instance, if a student needs to have the screen magnified by 1.5 times, if they click that, you will notice that the font of the screen is going to change. Students can take the screen back to the original magnification by simply clicking on the gear and going back to the 1 time. Also, if students have an accommodation in which the contrasting of the computer screen needs to be reversed, they can click on the white on black and it's going to actually reverse the contrast for the student so that the student will be able to see the screen a little better. Students again can take the screen back to its original setting by clicking on original. Notice this is where the students can also, from the gear, log out of the testing tunnel or go to the student portal where all of the students' data from all assessments that they have taken in the online assessment tunnel as well as from their state assessments can be found. Now, as we look at this particular screen, we want to notice that the students can also toggle between questions by clicking on the question box all the way to the left under the Performance Matters icon. This question box is going to show the students the number of questions that they have answered, the number of questions that are flagged, or the number of questions that they have completed. Students can toggle between questions by clicking from question to question in this box. Next to the box, the students have a number of icons. The first icon is a flag. This allows the students to flag the questions for further review, which means if the student doesn't want to answer the question right now, they may want to come back to this question at a later date or time. They can click on the flag, and then if you notice, if we go back, now this student has one unflagged question. And so they can unflag that question by clicking on the flag box. Next is the highlighting tool. If the students were to click the highlighting tool, then they can go and highlight any portion of the screen and notice the actual text on the screen is now highlighted. Students can remove that highlighting by clicking the clear highlight and then that highlighting will be removed. In the center of the page, students will see the actual name of the test as well as the question number that they are on. And next they have a help button. If the students need to see what the icons mean again, they can click on the help button and it will give them an explanation of each of the icons. This submit test button is very important. It appears on every page, so at any point or time, students can submit their test from any question. Notice that as the students read the question, all they have to do is select whichever response they think is the correct response by clicking on the radio button in front of the choice. Notice at the bottom of the page, students have the ability to pause the test, which means if the students click on the pause test button, notice now what happens. The student's test is closed out. It goes to the pause test section. It's moved out of the available test section. And that means that if the students need to take a break or if the students need to come back the next day or at another time, this test will remain paused until the students come back to complete that test. All the students have to do is click on the name of the test, click on the next button, and notice the student had already answered the question, and so it does save whatever responses the students have already placed in the system, and the students can simply just continue to take their test. So notice at the bottom now the students have a next button. So if the students click the next button, it's going to take them to the next item in the test, and the students can continue to answer. Notice now the student has a previous button. This means that the students will be able to go to the test question previously and they can just begin to toggle between the questions in the test. So the students can continue to go through the system, continue to answer all of their test questions by clicking on whatever response they think is the accurate response for the choice. And as they go through each item within the test, this is going to allow them to take their test question by question, and they'll be able to take their test item by item. What's going to happen is once the students complete the test and they actually take all of the questions within the test, once they come to the end of the test, then the students are now able to submit their test. Notice when they submit their test, they're going to get a pop-up box that says, "Are you sure you want to submit your test?" Notice that you have 0 unanswered questions, 0 flag questions, and 10 questions that are actually complete. And again, if the student feels that they are ready to submit the test, they're going to click their Submit Test button. It's going to take them back to their home screen and they can see all of the other tests. And at this time, the students can simply log out of the testing tunnel until the next time that they are going to complete a test. Thank you for watching our video.